Feel it in my fingers. You've never seen the movie, have you? So it doesn't work.
Like I said, I've seen some of the second half of it, never watched it all the way through, because like I say, my missus doesn't force me to watch chick flicks with her.
Well, you're going to watch it, and I'm going to convince you.
No, I'm not. I don't want to.
I'm going to convince you. All right, let me try.
Is it funny?
Yes.
Is it actually a good film outside of being a chick flick?
Yeah.
Then I might
think it's
watch
fine.
it.
Anyway, but the point is that Love Actually is based, and it's really based, and that's pissing a lot of people off. And for its 20th anniversary, I thought we'd go over it, because there are a lot of people who are very mad. Starting off with just promoting the politics and philosophy of They Live on lotuses.com, the little film reviews we do. Maybe we'll do Love Actually on its own sometime, but the thing about They Live is the glasses and the pure ideology that it brings you. And there are a lot of people engaging in pure ideology right now because it's the 20th anniversary, including the dude who made the movie, it seems. So if we go to the next one here, we can see Richard Curtis saying, the lack of diversity in Love Actually makes me feel a bit stupid. That's the problem with the film. Not enough people with brown skin.
Does it make him feel stupid for being a brainwashed leftist nowadays?
I would hope so. Richard Curtis has admitted that there are parts of his 2003... That's the hint. Remember that graph I showed earlier?
Only 6 years after Blair opened the floodgates.
You remember how London used to look in 2003? Yeah.
No, I was 7, but carry on.
The graphs.
I know the graphs.
The archive footage. The hidden secrets. 2003 Christmas love classic, Love Actually, that makes him feel a bit stupid about the lack of diversity. The award-winning British screenwriter said that there were moments of the film that were now bound to feel out of date, but that society ongoing love for it is really touching.
Oh, sorry, does he think that people watching it nowadays, they'll sit down, they'll watch it, they'll be passing the tissues at the end, wiping the tears?
It's not how London looks.
Yeah, just going like, that was amazing, but if only there were more brown people.
I can't, when white people get together and fall in love, I have no empathy for that. Because I'm a race socialist.
If modern adverts have told us anything, it's the only beautiful relationship is a mixed relationship.
It's the only one that's permitted on advertisements in the UK. People don't know what we're talking about. I think it's, 3% of the British population have got black skin.
I think it's 3.4, yeah.
It's something like that, who identifies black. And then you've got the advertising industry. It's 1 in 3 people on adverts. Yep. So identifies black, and it's like, all right, that's proportionate. Anyway, cast members, including Hugh Grant, Dame Emma Thompson, Bill Knightley, Laura Linney, and Thomas Brody also sat down with ABC News anchor Diane Sawyer for exclusive interviews and behind-the-scenes looks. Asked by Sawyer if there were any parts of the film that make them wince, Curtis replied, "There are things that you would change, but thank God society is changing." I don't know, I presume he's talking about the diversity there, because he goes on to say, "My film was bound to feel out of date at some times. The lack of diversity makes me uncomfortable and feel stupid." So he's saying, thank God the diversity of England has changed.
So this is okay. You are actually making me want to watch the film now, because if nothing else,
I told you.
If nothing else, as a cultural touchstone of what things were before they were right now, because this isn't reflecting badly on the film like he thinks. This is reflecting badly on him that he's allowed himself to become so brainwashed and ideological in the time since now and then.
Because anyone who's watched Love Actually will know, like, the film is a work of love, as in I wanted to make a good film about love.
That's a pretty wholesome goal.
Yeah, no, I've been corrupted by ideology and now I must make propaganda, which is why everyone else...
most films nowadays. I'm going to look up what's Richard Curtis's latest film.
No idea. If we get the next article on screen, we can see The Guardian here. We can get up. We can see here's what's changed, of course. Diversity is a beautiful thing. A view from Leicester and Birmingham, The Guardian writes, in response to the latest census. I love that. Diversity is when you don't exist and it's beautiful. That's actually what that headline is. And we'll go to the map again. Proud of the map. Because, of course, we can see how things changed. Well, the 2003 film was filmed when the graph looked like that. And he's so glad society has changed. Weird wording. It's not the only thing, as well. If we go to the next article here, we can see Wales Online reporting, time to rethink Christmas, as half of the country is no longer Christian, says Diversity Group. They say that many people feel left out and excluded from ceremonies. And, the thing is, if you take Christmas out of Love Actually, the whole thing doesn't make any sense either. So
I bet it doesn't. Also,
I'm sure he's glad it's all changing.
It seems that he's not made anything or directed anything since 2017. He's only directed 3 films. Love Actually, The Boat That Rocked, which is actually a decent film and also very English, by which I mean filled with English people, and then About Time, a film I've never heard of or watched.
No,
But do you know what I notice in all of them? A lot of white people in all
it's
of the
disgusting,
covers.
isn't it? I can't believe he would do this.
I'm gagging right now. But About Time, his most recent film, was 2013, so it's obviously before he reached his current enlightened state.
And my point isn't the director. The director's just like, that's his 20-year anniversary, so he had to give a
Apparently,
story.
About Time was wholesome as well, according to John.
He had to give a story about how he hates white people, which is interesting. But the thing is, there's a lot of salt about Love Actually, and we noted it last year, and I've kept it under my hat.
Richard
because...
Curtis wrote The Vicar of Dibley.
Good lad.
One of the most English shows ever made.
And I want to just take you through the absolute salt. And there is a funny effect in politics, which is when your enemies absolutely hate something, you do enjoy it more and more. That's why I'm saying you're going to end up watching it. Because we go to an article 2 years ago. So this is an article where they say, there's a lot to hate in Love Actually. Okay, this lady here, who totally didn't enjoy the movie. She writes, Love Actually killed the rom-com. It's a powerful exoneration of white male hegemony and terrible things that men do as a result. Its central moral lesson is that the less a woman talks, the more lovable she is. And it's a
That's actually true, though.
nightmarish UKIP ethno-state.
You mean England?
That's how you really feel.
Oh my...
Like,
Jesus Christ!
yeah, you could feel the hatred.
I think-
And the hatred is because it's a movie where there are English couples and they're having themselves a good time.
Is the writer of this still alive, or did she just have a heart attack and curl over?
I don't know, man. It's just a
Like,
pure
while
hatred.
writing this, my God.
She goes on, there's the fat jokes, the sexual harassment, the lack of female dialogue.
Okay, Callum,
I told
I already
you.
want to watch the film. You're just selling it to me more now.
I told you.
The normalization of stalking, that's my favourite hobby.
No, joking aside, because the thing is, there isn't any stalking in the movie.
No, I'm sure it's just
This is-
what... I'm sure what it's depicting is like the male courting strategy, right? Which this woman is saying is stalking.
It's a very specific subplot. So the movie, just to set you for people who haven't seen it, there's basically like 7 subplots going on of all these different people falling in love, or this guy who like cheats on his wife, and that's the story as he falls in love with this like secretary, but he breaks up with his wife because he's obviously cheating on her. And then there's like a small couple where like the young boy is realizing he's got feelings for a girl, and that's
Aw.
weird because he's like 9. And his dad's like, oh, well, learn the drums, I guess. And he learns the drums, so at the school fete he can impress her by playing the drums real good.
That's so sweet and wholesome.
Wholesomest things in the world. The Prime Minister, he's single in this movie. It's meant to be some Tony Blair-esque figure, but
Yeah,
single.
yeah.
Turns up to the office, and there's this tea lady there that he falls in love with, and is like desperately like, how do I make her like me? And then the American president shows up, and is a creepy sex pest, and tries to cheat on his wife with this tea lady in England.
All right.
And the Prime Minister sees this, like he sees an intimate moment between them where he can see what's going on, and then his response is to turn around, tell the Yanks to get stuffed, and
my
stand up for England.
Oh
and
my
how We're not
God.
going to follow Uncle Sam's rules and all this. It's like, this is great.
I need to
All
watch
this is
this.
I told you.
I need to watch this. You're right. The title of this segment is very accurate.
I'm getting back. Let's get back to the stalking though, because you could think, okay, maybe they got an accusation there that's true or something, right? Stalking's bad. They're talking about this dude. If we go to the next image here, this dude. Wholesome.
Oh, that's where this is from.
Yeah, so this dude, he loves this girl,
Rick from The Walking Dead, yeah.
Rick over here, before the bad times, falls in love with this girl, and the girl falls in love with his best mate, and he has to attend the wedding where the girl he loves and his best mate are getting married, and he's filming it because he's good with cameras. That's his job, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so he does that, and it's really awkward for him because he's like, well, I like her, but I can't say anything, obviously, because he's marrying my best mate, and I need to deal with this, but I don't know what to do because I still love her.
Oh.
And then she thinks that he hates her because he keeps like ignoring her and trying to stay away from her because he loves her, but he knows he can't.
Because he's
be involved.
trying to keep his distance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's trying to do the right thing here, which is trying to disassociate. And she keeps coming round, and she like gets him a pie and is like, "Oh, can you show me the wedding film you took?" And he's like, "Oh, it needs production. I can't show you it." Blah blah blah. And eventually, she like finds it, puts it on, and then she notices the whole wedding film he made is just shots of her. But he's just constantly filming her because he's in love with her.
Oh.
And she looks at him and is like, "Oh," and he just like walks out, all embarrassed and stuff. And then he comes back after no contact and just plays like a Christmas Carol thing, and then pulls out these cards. Just like, look, here's my feelings. I think you're perfect, blah, 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 but I can't say this publicly, of course, because of what's happening. and she gives him a kiss and then goes back in, and that's a bit weird because obviously it's cheating on the marriage.
Yeah.
But whatever, like it's a big romantic gesture.
It's supposed to be like the forbidden love, the love conquers all, true love over whatever it is she's got with this other guy.
Complex feelings and all that. None of it's stalking. There is no stalking aspect to that to me. It's just like, no, the dude's still in love with her and is trying to get rid of it, but it's his best mate. What can he do? It's a mess. And yeah, that happens to people. But no, that's stalking now, is it? We have an article from 5 years ago, which they're complaining it's the patriarchy. The patriarchy, actually.
Right.
All night thinking that, did you, Toby?
Right, men embracing this incredibly feminine, I'm a sassy girl boss type attitude, and I know that this
Look at that chin. Look at that.
this doesn't exactly look like your typical man. I understand what you're saying there, John, but allowing men to start to talk like women in such a way was a complete mistake.
No, but it's more about he's trying to make some stupid article.
I know.
He writes in here, a film with a myriad of problems. It's base, that's the problem. Not least, its glaring, an archaic, mono-racial version of London.
That was just London!
It was just London, man. Again, there was no propaganda behind the creators. They weren't going to do something. They were going to represent how it was, and that's the problem, again.
Well, to be fair, these are the same people that cheer on and celebrate Anne Boleyn being black.
Yeah, they're not sincere in slightest. But most were all too apparent, even when it came out in Christmas 2003. There's Andrew Lincoln's creepy portrayal of a man who just can't help but confess his love to his best friend's new wife, Keira Knightley. I was like, yeah, that's not creepy. It's kind of, complex and interesting. But no, it's all creepy stalkering.
Oh, looking younger than Lincoln by every one of the 12 years. Because older men who are in
younger women.
They never get with, especially if they're in their mid-30s and they're just getting to a point of success in their lives.
I think it's all 18-year-old men that get with 40-year-old women.
That's how I've seen it.
I've heard. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Hugh Grant's pervy prime minister. What? Seducing a number 10 household staff. Mysterifyingly referenced as fat as every opportunity.
So you're saying... So your interpretation was that he falls in love.
Yeah, he turns up, she's beautiful, he's not married, and he's like, oh, okay, and I quite like her. And then he's like awkwardly embarrassed around her all the time. She comes in and brings him biscuits, and he's like, oh, could you get me some better biscuits or whatever? And then he's like, no, actually, it's fine. Like, he doesn't want to cause a fuss. It's the cutest thing in the world.
Yeah, that's just very wholesome and sweet.
No, he's a pervy prime minister sex pest. It's like, no, the American president is the sex pest in the film. He turns up, is married, and tries to get with the tea lady. Like, he's the bad guy. Anyway, the cleaner for Colin Firth's character, falling head over heels in love with a much older man despite the fact they can't speak the same language. Talk about a midlife fantasy. It's like, no.
That could easily happen.
That reference is obviously showing off that love transcends language. Like, she can't speak English, she's Portuguese.
I mean, Love Actually is literally the name of the film.
It's about love, you lunatic. The film really shows off its hand in the only truly moving story, told predominantly from a woman's point of view. Yeah, I love this. This is the only one he thinks about. With Alan Rickman's superb portrayal of a philandering husband. I ask you, is there any greater display of white male idiocy than deciding to cheat on Emma Thompson?
Now, I would never support men cheating on their wives. But
Emma Thompson.
Yeah, if it's Emma Thompson, I get it, bro.
No, it's obviously a joke, but it's again stupid, as if that's the only part of the film you can identify whether something wrong with you. Perhaps we should reference that question to Kenneth Branagh. Branagh. If you only really needed to confirm it in 2016, stick on the TV. White men suck, actually.
Oh, okay, so...
That's just not a zinger.
So what this article is written by a white man, I presume.
Soy boy.
Yeah, what this article is saying, you don't want to enjoy the wholesome family films of yesteryear? Well, stick on the TV, absorb some propaganda, and all of a sudden you won't be able to enjoy it anyway. Yeah, genius.
I love PewDiePie's Soy boy.
I think we should start getting a soundboard so we can just have bruh.
Yeah, we have 8 years ago, there's another article where you have The Guardian writing Love Actually as a catastrophe. The hate for it, the real hate for it.
They really do. It was because it's promoting wholesome love and wholesome family values instead of sexual degeneracy.
It's not left-wing propaganda, is the complaint. Where's the Netflixization of the whole cast and crew and all of the relevant story bits? And it's like, why would we do that? We're trying to make a good film. Sorry. Moves to the next one here. We have someone else writing an article. Is Love Actually sexist?
It doesn't sound it.
I mean, kind of. They have sex. That's your complaint, lady.
Yeah,
The next one here.
In the words of Spinal Tap, what's wrong with being sexy?
The BBC go with 10 times pop culture romanticized sexual harassment. Again, the complaint here is the guy who has complex feelings for a girl he loves, but then she's getting married to his best friend.
I'm not endorsing anything by saying this, but there are so many examples of men trying to court women and women considering it creepy when it's an ugly man and considering it romantic when it's a handsome man.
That double standard exists as well. We have the next one here from some articles saying fat shaming and toxic men, Love Actually called to be cancelled. Yeah, okay. The fat shaming here, in case you're wondering, is because they have that's the tea lady, right? She's not fat, and that's the joke. Is that all the other staff are like, she's a bit fat. The fat one? Is that the one you mean, Prime Minister? I just want to see where his secretary comes in, and he's like, "Oh, there's Natalie about." She says, "Oh, the fat girl. Why would we call her that?"
That's quite funny.
It's hilarious. That's the point. But no, we go to the next one. Lad Bible had to get in on the juice.
Of course they did.
Modern audiences call for classic Christmas film Love Actually to be cancelled because they dared to say that Natalie was a bit fat. She won. We go to the next one here as well. We have The Independent. Why Love Actually is not the heartwarming rom-com you're remembering.
Disbelieve your lying eyes.
Yeah, you'll watch it this Christmas and remember, no, the Independent might be wrong here. They write here, all the power and agency belongs to the male characters, whilst women, often their younger employees, are silent, appreciative, pretty things.
Based.
What's wrong with... Okay, appreciative. That's a bad thing now, isn't it?
Well, girl bosses aren't grateful for anything that they're given or worked for. They're constantly spiteful in the face of blessings.
I was sat with Daisy earlier going through all the female characters in the film, and none of them are portrayed poorly either. They're trying to make it out like the women are subhumans in this film or something. And it's not. You have the girl who can't speak English because she's Portuguese, right? Well, obviously she doesn't talk much. She's talking Portuguese. He doesn't understand a bloody word she's saying. There's actually some funny moments where like he's writing something, it all falls into the river, and so she like strips off and jumps in. And he's like, not bad. Anyway, strips off to jump in and get the papers as well. And he's like, oh, terribly sorry, it's quite cold in here. And she's jabbering away in Portuguese, going, it's bloody freezing. They can't understand each other. This is hilarious.
That's sweet.
Makes perfect sense. He's like, oh, there's eels in here, be careful. And she's like, what the hell was that? But in Portuguese. So anyway, and so you got her. You got the young couple, which you have this American girl, which he's obviously trying to impress but can't talk to because he's an 8-year-old and doesn't really know how to court women. So, I mean, that subplot makes sense why she's not talking much. You've got the tea lady, which, I mean, she talks a fair bit, but she's there as an employee for the Prime Minister of all people, for God's sake. You've got the wife who's being cheated on. She talks plenty. She's amazing and lovely and a great wife.
I imagine she's got a lot to say as someone being cheated on.
She's very upset.
Yeah, I bet.
You've got the secretary who the husband cheats on, which, yeah, she's a secretary to cheat on. That's the point in the subplot there. So, waste of time. There's a really funny couple, actually, where you've got this guy and girl. They're both, like, models for photo shoots where you've got to be nude. So there's a lot of scenes where she's, like, bent over on a lean, and he's got to sit there, like, thrusting into her for, like, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or something, right, for the shoot. So he just keeps doing it, and they're bored, so they just get chatting about stuff and in different sexual positions, and eventually they're like, oh, you want to come around and meet the family? Yeah, sure, I'll come around for Christmas. Oh, it's incredibly humanizing. It's just like, well,
that sounds it.
That was nice. The only version of the women that are a joke is because there's one English character who's like, yeah, American birds are up for anything. They love it. And he's like, come with me, my lad. We'll come to America. I hear you could go in any bar and you'll find 3 women who want to have sex with you. And his mate's like, mate, you're an idiot. you're a moron. He's like, but they think English accents are sexy. They'll fall for it. And then he gets on a plane, and of course he goes to the first bar in America he finds, and there are 3 beautiful supermodels sat there who all... Tonight they all sleep in the same bed. Oh, so you'll have to share with us. And we're so poor we can't afford pajamas, so we have to sleep naked. It's tongue in cheek. It's bollocks.
Well, yeah, that's that sort of like goofy Monty Python-esque British humour starting to come out.
Yeah.
It's just absurd.
But no, this is oppression of women. All of those characters. It's not a thoughtful, how do we make this funny and interesting and whatever. It's no, we just want women to shut up. That's all we're about. All the men
I mean,
in the
if that was Curtis's secret agenda, I mean, fair.
Mad. Anyway, we got the next one here. We have more of this as well. they actually wrote in here, Love Actually, the strangest film ever made, expertly deconstructed as a creepy nightmare. But we'll get back to that. We have an image with, they predicted Prince Harry. Something I didn't think of.
Very clever.
We have the American girl there, and the little ginger lad who's trying to impress her. She is trying
I thought there was no diversity in the film.
Shh.
Okay, all right, never mind.
She's trying to seek fame and fortune as well. That's her job. She's like a singer. Goes back
Is
to
she
America
also
to do
a
that.
very lazy podcaster?
I don't know. We didn't get that far into their subplot. Anyway, we have Pink News who write in here that it's a creepy nightmare. There you are. The straightest film ever made. Okay, Pink News. Cry more. They write in here, Richard Curtis's 2003 film set at Christmas and tells stories of approximately 40,000 characters, all straight! Okay.
Oh, well.
Cry more. The thing is, there actually is gay representation.
Oh, yeah?
It's just not how you think. It's not a guy walking around with dildos strapped to his chest.
Oh, well, it's not, obviously can't be gay then, can it?
With Mr. Bean's character, which, yeah, come on, he's gay. The guy who's cheating goes to get a bracelet for the secretary he's cheating on, to get her that. And this guy starts repairing it while his wife's away, and his wife's going to come back any minute. And he's like, oh, we've wrapped it up. Would you like a gift wrap, sir? Oh, yeah, sure. And he's like, I'll get the petals. And then the rosemary he gets out and everything, and then wraps it up in another box, and then more bullshit.
Classic Rowan Atkinson performance, I bet.
It's great. And then we have Elton John over here, who's not Elton John, but he basically is in the film. He goes to Elton John, so he runs this Christmas single that's crap. Where he's going, I feel it in my fingers, feel it in my toes, and he just changes the line to Christmas is all around us instead of love is all around us.
Okay.
Comes number one, because it's funny, because it's crap, because this is
That's
England.
what happens with Christmas songs, yeah.
I love English culture. It's crap. All right, good.
Brilliant, I'll take 10 of it.
He goes to a party with Elton John, and he gets bored of it, and comes back and hangs out with his fat, tubby manager to spend Christmas with him, and he's like, but I love you. And he's like, not like that, but you know. And then they have a weird hug, and then he says, let's get drunk and watch porn. And that's what they do for Christmas.
Alright.
It's great. Back to the article, though. Pink News, moulding. So an SJW, they write, sat down with their girlfriend, who recommended the film. And this is an SJW's interaction with a good film. Quote, my girlfriend made me watch the movie Love Actually for the first time ever last night, and I would like to discuss the absolute effing unnecessary nightmare, unceasing nightmare, every single scene is. He was horrified.
Did he still have a girlfriend by the morning? Because I can imagine she was just hoping for like a nice, funny, possibly even romantic evening in.
One of the main characters is your normal, everyday, actual Prime Minister of Britain. Yeah, okay, shut up. And his storyline is that he wants to do the tea lady at number 10. He literally just moved in and wants to pork the help, and it's never framed as anything but the utmost of romance. No, Hugh, it's really not. Why not? It is. Go watch the film again, you idiot. It's adorable.
Once again, this supposed man sounds far more feminine than I imagine his girlfriend is.
And wanted. Anyway, quote, in an early scene, he breaks down crying, and Emma Thompson says, get a grip. People hate sissies. No one's ever going to shag you if you cry all the time.
True and based.
Yeah, the day after a funeral, writes Fox. I was like, yeah. Tough feelings between siblings at a funeral. That's never happened.
All right.
Colin Firth's character is lambasted next. Oh, did you find the Hugh Grant storyline creepy? No. Well, guess what? They're a completely different character with the exact same storyline, except this time the hired help can't even speak English. What an effing nightmare is this film? Again, love transcends the barrier. She's Portuguese. She can't speak English.
Also, it's a comedy? That sounds like a funny scenario for funny hijinks.
The end of it is even more funny for funny hijinks. They write here, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen Love Actually. The film ends with Firth's character proposing to his cleaner that he has never had a single conversation with, as Fox describes it. He first asks her father, who thinks he is selling his daughter into slavery, and is totally fine with that. This is hell, writes Fox.
That's quite funny.
It's, a butchering of what actually happened. He after she leaves, he realizes, I miss her so much. He stays in the library learning Portuguese for a month, as fluently as he can, then flies to Portugal, and then goes and meets the family that tracks down the house, knocks on the door, and is like, in broken Portuguese, I want to marry your sister. And he's like, eh? Huh? Really? Get in here. Brings in the sister, is the other sister, who's fat and ugly. Not that one, not that one. He's like, no, Aurelia. They go to the shop, and they're just shouting at everyone, this stupid Englishman wants to buy Aurelia. The fat one? Yeah. She's not fat. They go to the shop, and he's like, I'm selling you to this Englishman. And then he professes her love to him, and then she speaks English to him. After he's proposed, he's like,
so she'd been doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Aww.
He's like, in Portuguese, will you marry me? And she goes, yes, I will. And all the Portuguese people in the cafe are like, what does she say?
We need to know.
Yeah, anyway, it's beautiful again, but no, it's creepy to this idiot. Fox then moves on to Alan Rickman's character, Harry, and rightly points out that the secretary is an effing creep who should be fired on the spot for her inappropriate behaviour in the workplace. The secretary he cheats with. She makes a pornographic joke at work. So, I mean, this dude's office must have, like, suicide nets. Unbearable. Fox's conclusion was simple and just. He wants the film banned.
All right. Okay.
The negatives burnt and copies to be buried in the ground.
Or you just don't have to watch it.
Pink News write, we think that's an entirely reasonable and fair solution to cutting this unsettlingly straight film out of our lives once and for all.
Upsettingly straight.
Yeah.
So if the writer of this article presumably walks outside and sees a man and a woman holding hands, I assume they either break out the knife or just have a complete nervous breakdown right then and there, right?
I imagine so.
Judging by the tone of this article, Jesus, these people are completely insane.
I'll end it off there. I'll save the other thing for another time. But the thing is, yeah, I can see the chat being like, yeah, okay, I'm going to check that out. You certainly should.
Yeah.
Love Actually is incredibly based. It'll be on TV this Christmas, but either way, I'm sure you can find it in your local online free
Watch
legal.
out if the BBC play it, they might recolour some of it.
Oh god, you know there is going to be in 10 years a warning labelled to the film.
Yeah.
This film isn't very diverse. Calling it now. That is what's going to happen. But there you have it. So do go and check out Love Actually. Great film, and pissed off all the right people in a way that wasn't pointless and was actually very fun. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as the Contemplation series that Josh does, and you can find out here the latest one being, well, celebration of 2 years since the start of the Lotus Eaters, and the brief history therein. If you'd like to find out what else we're putting out, you can follow us on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you, and goodbye.